eyes changing color. Hook. Have you ever noticed, when jealousy rises inside, even our eyes seem to change? There's something mysterious about the human gaze. The eyes, people often say, are the windows of the soul. And it's true, before a word leaves your lips, before a smile forms on your face, your eyes are already telling the story of your heart. Think about it. Have you ever met someone whose eyes shone with warmth, even before they spoke? Just looking at them felt like sunlight pouring into your chest. And then, in contrast, there are moments when someone's eyes feel heavy, shadowed, almost clouded over. You sense something is off, even if they're smiling politely. That's because the eyes are not simply physical. They're mirrors of the mind. They reveal what the heart carries, whether we intend it or not. Now let's bring in a simple but very human example. Imagine a gentle person, calm, soft-spoken, kind. But then, one day, they see their friend achieve something they secretly wished for. Maybe a promotion at work, maybe recognition for talent, maybe love or affection that they've been craving. Suddenly, their gaze changes. It's subtle at first, maybe just a tightening around the corners of the eyes, or a flicker that doesn't look like celebration but like discomfort. Their look grows heavier, darker, as if a shadow passes over their face. This is jealousy at work. In Buddhism, jealousy is often described as a fire. But unlike an outer fire, which burns visibly, this fire burns silently within, consuming joy, consuming peace. It doesn't just affect the jealous person's inner state. It radiates outward, dimming their presence, even altering the brightness of their eyes. Have you noticed this in yourself? Maybe there was a time when you scrolled through social media and saw a friend's vacation photos, their new house, their seemingly perfect relationship. You told yourself, "I'm happy for them." And maybe you truly were. But still, there was that little pinch in the chest, that little voice whispering, "Why not me?" In that very moment, if you had looked in the mirror, you might have seen it too, that your own eyes had lost a bit of their sparkle. This is what the Buddhist texts mean when they say, "Envy steals your light." The flame of jealousy burns away the clarity of your heart, and it shows, plain as day, through your gaze. And here's something even more fascinating. In traditional cultures across Asia, people often believed you could sense someone's fortune, their moral character, even their future, by looking into their eyes. Eyes that shone with softness and clarity were seen as signs of virtue, inner peace, and blessings to come. Eyes clouded with envy or anger, a sign that the heart was restless, the spirit unsettled. Science today even supports this in its own way. When we feel positive emotions, love, joy, compassion, our nervous system relaxes. Pupils open slightly, the muscles around the eyes soften, the face naturally brightens. But when we feel jealousy, stress hormones rise. The eyes narrow, tension creeps in, and even our skin tone darkens subtly. Isn't it interesting that what ancient wisdom noticed intuitively, modern science now explains physiologically? Let me share a small personal reflection. I once had a friend who, on the surface, always encouraged others. But there were moments, small cracks, where the truth revealed itself. If I achieved something good, I would see in his eyes, not words, not gestures, but in his eyes, this flicker of discomfort. A dimming. He might still clap, still say congratulations, but the eyes told another story. And what I realized was, it wasn't about me at all. His own inner fire of comparison was eating away at him. The more he compared, the more his light dimmed. And here's the painful irony of jealousy. When you look at another person's blessings with envy, you don't diminish their light, you diminish your own. Their success remains intact, but your own inner radiance fades. It's like trying to blow out someone else's candle and instead snuffing out your own. So, what do we do with this truth? If jealousy is a fire that burns away the light of the eyes, then the antidote is not to suppress the feeling, but to transform it. Buddhism teaches that when we feel envy, we can shift the energy into mudita, sympathetic joy, or joy in the happiness of others. Imagine this. The next time you feel that pang, when someone else gets the promotion, when your sibling buys a bigger house, when your friend receives the love you long for, pause, breathe, and instead of saying, "Why not me?" try whispering inside, "How wonderful for them." May their happiness continue. May their joy ripple outward. It may feel unnatural at first, even forced, but slowly, this practice waters a different seed in your heart. Instead of fire that burns, you create a fountain that flows. Instead of darkening your eyes, you brighten them again. And people around you will notice. Because here's a truth worth remembering. The quality of your eyes reveals the quality of your heart. When your heart is generous, your gaze is gentle. When your heart is at peace, your gaze shines. And when your heart is consumed with envy, the eyes cannot hide it. So let me ask you, if someone were to look into your eyes right now, what would they see? Would they see a light that uplifts, or a shadow that unsettles? We often think beauty comes from cosmetics, from appearance, from clothing. But the deepest kind of beauty, the kind that draws people near, isn't painted on the skin, it radiates from the eyes. And that beauty is born from a clear, loving, unjealous heart. The Buddhist masters used to say, if the mind is bright, the eyes are bright. If the mind is clouded, the eyes are clouded. And I think that's something worth carrying with us. So here's the question I'll leave you with. If keeping your eyes bright depends on keeping your heart pure, then how will you nurture your inner light today? Because when the heart shines, the eyes cannot help but follow. The smile fades away. Hook. When does a real smile truly disappear? Script. Smiles are fascinating, aren't they? A smile can be the simplest, most universal gesture of human connection. Babies smile before they even know how to speak. Strangers share a smile across a busy street, and for a moment, the world feels less divided. A smile has the power to soothe, to comfort, to reassure someone that they belong. But here's the thing, we don't always smile the same way. Sometimes, our smiles are effortless, pure, filled with warmth. Other times, they're strained, forced, like masks we wear to convince others, and maybe ourselves, that we are fine. You can tell the difference. Everyone can. So, let's ask again, when does a genuine smile begin to fade? One answer is simple. It fades when jealousy takes root. Think about someone you know, or maybe even yourself in a difficult moment. On the outside, they may smile when hearing of a friend's success, a coworker's promotion, or a sibling's achievement. But the smile doesn't quite reach their eyes. It feels thin, fragile, almost like it's fighting against something. Inside, instead of joy, there's a sting. Why not me? Why do they get this, and I don't? That tiny fracture in the heart is enough to fracture the smile. Buddhism describes this beautifully. The Buddha taught that when the mind is filled with envy, merit, our inner reservoir of goodness, begins to dry up. Envy is like a leak in a jar of water. No matter how much goodness we pour into our lives, it drains away quietly if the heart cannot rejoice in the happiness of others. On the other hand, when the mind is filled with joy, real joy, the kind that celebrates not only our own blessings but the blessings of others, merit flows in abundantly, as if a spring has opened. In other words, jealousy makes smiles vanish, while joy in others makes smiles multiply. But let's pause here and be honest. It's easy to say, don't be jealous, be joyful. In reality, it's not always so simple. We are human. We compare. We notice differences. We measure ourselves against others almost unconsciously. Sometimes we even mask jealousy with politeness. We smile outwardly, but inwardly, we ache. Have you ever caught yourself doing this? Maybe clapping for a colleague's recognition, while secretly wishing it had been you. Or nodding at a friend's good news, while your chest felt heavy. In those moments, the smile on your face doesn't quite carry the light it should. And the truth is, others can sense it. We think we are hiding our feelings, but energy leaks out. I'll tell you a story from my own experience. Years ago, I attended a wedding. Everyone was laughing, dancing, celebrating. But I noticed one woman at the table. She smiled politely through the night, but her eyes were distant. Later, I learned that she had just gone through a breakup. Watching someone else step into joy only deepened her own pain. And though she smiled, it wasn't the smile of celebration. It was the smile of endurance. And in that moment, I realized, a smile is not just about lips curving upward. It's about the state of the heart behind it. Jealousy steals the innocence from a smile. It's like this. Imagine a child laughing, completely carefree. That laughter is pure, uncalculated, free of comparison. Now imagine an adult smile that hides envy. It lacks that childlike lightness. It may look similar, but the soul behind it is restless. And here's the paradox. The very thing we long for, the joy, the peace, the sense of contentment, jealousy takes away from us. We think someone else's gain is our loss, but in reality, the only thing we lose is our own smile, our own peace of mind. The Buddha once said, One who delights in the happiness of others finds happiness themselves. This is the practice of mudita, or sympathetic joy. It means that instead of letting envy drain our blessings, we learn to rejoice in another's fortune as if it were our own. Imagine what that would feel like. Imagine hearing that your friend won an award and instead of feeling small, you felt uplifted, as if their success expanded the space of possibility for you, too. Imagine seeing someone buy a new house, and instead of thinking, "I'll never have that," you think, "How wonderful that they have a safe and happy home." Imagine feeling so full inside that another person's joy became fuel for your own. When we practice this, something shifts. Our smiles stop being masks. They regain their innocence. They become authentic, warm, contagious, and people feel it. A genuine smile doesn't just curve your lips, it lights up your presence. Science even has something to say here. Research in psychology shows that authentic smiles, what they call Duchenne smiles, where both the mouth and eyes engage, are linked to longer life, healthier relationships, and greater overall happiness. Why? Because these smiles come from real inner states of joy. They can't be faked. They radiate from within. And the state that most nourishes this? A mind free from envy, rich in gratitude, rich in joy for others. Let's return to the earlier question. When does a real smile disappear? It disappears when envy takes the driver's seat. And when does it reappear? When joy returns, especially joy in the well-being of others. So let me invite you to reflect. Who in your life is experiencing something good right now? A child doing well in school? A friend finding love? A neighbor celebrating a new chapter? Instead of asking, "Why not me?" ask, "How can I be happy for them?" Try it, really try it, and see how your smile feels. Because here's the truth. Envy takes away your smile, but joy brings it back. And that joy isn't out of reach. It's a choice, a practice, something you can cultivate moment by moment. So I'll leave you with this thought. If every smile you give reflects the state of your heart, wouldn't you rather it be a smile born from genuine joy than one strained by comparison? The next time you catch yourself smiling through envy, pause, take a breath, invite yourself back to joy. Because your smile isn't just for others, it's your gift to yourself. Closing reflection. Jealousy steals the smile. Joy in others restores it. The question is, how do we train the heart to rejoice sincerely? That's the journey we'll explore next. The darkened face. Have you noticed? Some people grow more radiant with success, while others seem to grow darker with time. Why is that? Faces tell stories. More than wrinkles, more than age, more than makeup or style. Your face is like a canvas painted by the emotions and states of mind you carry day after day. Some people, even as they grow older, seem to glow. Their skin radiates warmth, their presence feels alive, as if inner joy is lighting them from within. And then there are others. No matter their wealth, no matter their accomplishments, their face looks weighed down, tense, tired, shadowed. Why does this happen? The Buddha had a simple yet profound way of explaining it. As the mind is, so the face becomes. In other words, tam naocnhny, the quality of your inner world eventually shows up in your outer appearance. When your mind is calm, content, and free from constant comparison, your face softens. But when your mind is restless, filled with envy or constant measuring against others, your face reflects that tension. The jaw tightens, the eyes narrow, the brow furrows. Even if you don't say a word, your appearance tells the story. Think about people you know. Maybe you've seen someone who doesn't have much money or status, but every time you meet them, their face seems full of life. Their presence is refreshing, like stepping into fresh air. And then, maybe you know someone else, financially successful, outwardly admired, but their face feels drained, heavy, almost lifeless. It's not their circumstances that create that difference. It's their state of heart. Have you ever noticed this in yourself? Maybe during times when you carried resentment or envy, your face felt different, stiffer, less open. And then, during moments of genuine gratitude or compassion, your face felt lighter, softer, even more beautiful without trying. There's a saying in traditional wisdom, after 40, every person is responsible for their own face. It means that by middle age, your face reflects not just genetics, but your habitual emotions. The way you've treated your mind is etched into the lines of your face. Modern science supports this too. Chronic stress, often fueled by comparison and envy, raises cortisol levels. Over time, This creates inflammation, tension, and fatigue that show in your skin and muscles. Meanwhile, positive emotions like joy and compassion trigger oxytocin and endorphins, which improve circulation and give the face a natural glow. Isn't it fascinating how ancient teachings and modern research point to the same truth? I remember meeting a teacher once, an elderly monk. His face was full of deep wrinkles from years of life, but not one wrinkle looked harsh. His eyes sparkled. His skin radiated a kind of peace that no cosmetic product could ever replicate. Standing near him felt like being near a calm river. He didn't need to say a word. His face alone spoke volumes about the purity of his heart. Contrast that with someone caught in constant jealousy. Imagine a person who spends hours scrolling through social media, comparing themselves to others, feeling bitter at every post of success, beauty, or joy. Over time, those emotions carve themselves into the face. The light dims, the freshness fades, and even in youth, the face can look prematurely weary. This is what the Buddha meant. A mind clouded by envy darkens the complexion, while a heart bright with joy illuminates it. So the question becomes, what paints your face each day? Because whether we realize it or not, we are always painting. Every emotion, every thought leaves a brushstroke. If the strokes are resentment, envy, and constant comparison, the canvas will darken. If the strokes are compassion, gratitude, and joy, the canvas brightens. And here's something worth reflecting on. People are drawn not to perfect faces, but to radiant ones. Have you noticed? We may admire physical beauty at first glance, but the faces we return to, the ones we feel safe with, are those that radiate warmth. A kind face is always beautiful, regardless of age. So how do we keep our faces bright? The answer isn't in expensive creams or surgical procedures. The answer begins in the heart. We must learn to wipe away the dust of jealousy, resentment, and comparison. It's like cleaning a mirror. A mirror covered in dust cannot reflect light. But once it's wiped clean, even the smallest candle makes it shine. Similarly, when we clear the heart of envy, our natural radiance returns. Let me ask you this. When someone looks at you, do you want them to see tension or light? Do you want them to feel heaviness or peace? Your face is your message to the world, and that message is written by your heart. The Buddha gave us a simple practice for this. Cultivate mudita, joy in the happiness of others. Every time you feel envy, pause and say quietly, "May they be happy. May their blessings continue." At first, it may feel forced, but over time, it rewires the heart. And as the heart rewires, the face follows. I think of it this way. Envy is like soot on glass. It blocks the light from shining through. But joy is like wiping that glass clean. The light inside you, which has always been there, suddenly shines without effort. So if you want your face to glow, not just today, but in the long run, don't start with makeup, don't start with filters. Start with the heart. Brighten the inside, and the outside will follow. The story of two sisters. One sister grew more radiant as the years passed. The other seemed more and more withered. Why? Stories often teach us more than theories ever could. And there's a story I once heard, a simple story of two sisters, that illustrates something the Buddha often taught. The heart you carry within eventually shapes the face you wear, the life you live, and the destiny you walk into. The story goes like this. There were two sisters who grew up together in the same home, shared the same meals, the same parents, the same environment. On the surface, everything was equal. Yet as time passed, something remarkable happened. The older sister seemed to grow more and more beautiful, not just in the superficial sense, but in a way that made people feel peaceful in her presence. Her face was bright, her eyes were kind, her laughter genuine. Wherever she went, people felt uplifted. Meanwhile, the younger sister seemed to grow increasingly weary. Though she was once just as lovely as a sibling, her face gradually lost its freshness. Her features appeared tense, her expression guarded, her presence heavy. Even when she smiled, it lacked ease. What happened? It wasn't the difference in makeup or lifestyle. It wasn't money, luck, or opportunity. It was something deeper, something invisible yet powerful. You see, the older sister had a heart that genuinely rejoiced in her sibling's success. When her younger sister did well, she felt joy. When others achieved something, she celebrated with them. Her inner world was free from envy, and that freedom showed in her appearance. Her radiance came from within. But the younger sister carried something different in her heart. Instead of feeling joy for others, she secretly measured herself against them. She compared, she resented, she wondered why she didn't have what others had. Over time, that hidden envy drained her spirit. The light in her eyes dimmed, her face looked tired, and her energy grew heavy. This story is not just about two sisters. It's about all of us. Haven't you seen this before? Two people who live similar lives, yet one seems to glow with time while the other looks worn down. It's not simply genetics. It's not only circumstance. It's the state of the heart, the presence or absence of jealousy, resentment, and joy. The Buddha often taught about karma, cause and effect. We sometimes misunderstand karma as something mystical, far off, or reserved for another lifetime. But the truth is, karma shows itself right here, right now. The younger sister's envy immediately produced its result: a face clouded, a presence diminished. The older sister's joy created its own fruit, a lightness and beauty that no cosmetic could ever buy. This is living karma, cause and effect in real time. And here's something important to reflect on. Envy doesn't just darken the heart, it takes away vitality itself. Studies today even show that negative emotions like jealousy and chronic resentment weaken the immune system, accelerate aging, and reduce overall life satisfaction. Positive emotions like gratitude and compassion, on the other hand, strengthen the body, improve relationships, and even lengthen life expectancy. So the Buddha's teaching wasn't just spiritual poetry, it was profoundly practical. I remember once meeting two women at a gathering. Both were around the same age, both dressed elegantly. But their energies couldn't have been more different. One walked into the room and immediately lifted it, the kind of person whose smile feels like sunshine. The other, though beautiful in features, seemed cold, as if a shadow followed her. Later, I learned that one was known for always encouraging and uplifting others, while the other was known for gossip, criticism, and envy. The contrast was striking, and it made me think, beauty is not just skin deep, it's heart deep. The cosmetics industry will tell us beauty comes from creams, powders, and surgeries. But real beauty, the kind that lasts and deepens with age, doesn't come from a store. It comes from a heart that is free, free of envy, free of bitterness, free of constant comparison. A heart that delights in others' joy will naturally radiate outward. Ask yourself this: do you want to be like the older sister, whose face grew brighter each year? Or like the younger, whose envy drained her vitality? The truth is, we all have both seeds within us, the seed of joy and the seed of envy. The question is, which one are we watering? Every time we feel jealous, every time we compare, we water the seed of bitterness. And every time we genuinely celebrate another's happiness, we water the seed of light. Over time, whichever seed we nurture will become the forest we live in, and the face we wear. So, how do we begin shifting? How do we cleanse envy from the heart so our faces shine again? The practice is simple, though not always easy. It starts with awareness. The next time you feel that little sting, when someone else succeeds or shines, pause. Breathe. Instead of feeding the thought, "Why not me?" try whispering to yourself, "How wonderful for them. May their happiness continue." At first, it may feel unnatural, but slowly, this practice transforms the heart. It's like polishing a mirror. At first, the dust seems stubborn, but with each gentle wipe, the reflection becomes clearer. And once the heart is clear, the face reflects light naturally. Because in the end, beauty is not about the contours of the face, it's about the contours of the heart. Closing reflection. The story of the two sisters teaches us something profound. One grew more beautiful, not because of makeup or youth, but because of her heart's joy. The other grew weary, not because of age, but because of envy. So remember this: true beauty doesn't come from cosmetics. It comes from a heart untainted by jealousy. The moon and the clouds. Hook. Envy is like dark clouds, blocking the moonlight within us. Script. Have you ever looked up at the night sky, waiting to see the moon, only to find it hidden behind thick clouds? For a moment, it feels as though the moon has disappeared. The light we love, the gentle glow that calms the heart, is gone. But deep down, we know the truth. The moon is still there, unshaken, untarnished. It's only the passing clouds that conceal it. The human heart is much the same. Deep within us, there's a natural radiance, a goodness, a quiet light that doesn't need to be manufactured. The Buddha once called it our original mind, pure, clear, untainted. But just as clouds can cover the moon, emotions like envy, resentment, and jealousy can cover that inner light. Think about it. You might meet someone who is naturally kind, gentle, and warm. But when envy rises within them, their energy changes. Their words become sharper, their eyes a little colder, their presence heavier. It's as if the clouds have rolled in, hiding the moonlight that was once so clear. And when others look at them, they don't see the original light anymore. They only see the storm. But here's the truth. The moon never disappears. The light within us never truly dies. It only gets covered. Which means that as soon as the clouds of envy pass, the radiance returns. I love this metaphor because it reminds us that envy doesn't define us. Too often, we mistake our passing emotions for who we are. I am an envious person. I am a jealous person. But no, that's not accurate. Envy is not your identity. It's just a cloud drifting across your sky. Your real self is the moon, untouched, luminous, waiting to shine again. So, let's pause for a moment. Ask yourself, when was the last time envy crept into your heart? Maybe it was seeing a coworker get the promotion you wanted. Maybe it was noticing a friend's vacation photos while you were stuck at home. Maybe it was as simple as someone else looking younger, healthier, or happier than you. In those moments, did you feel your inner sky darken? I'll be honest, I've felt it too. Once, I remember scrolling through social media and seeing a peer's career take off. At first, I smiled. But then, almost without realizing it, a heavy thought rose up. Why not me? Why do they get that opportunity while I don't? And in that instant, my mood sank. Nothing had actually changed in my life, yet I felt smaller, dimmer, more restless. That's the strange thing about envy. It steals light from us without giving us anything in return. It's like sitting under a clear night sky, and instead of enjoying the stars, you keep staring at a single cloud, complaining that it blocks your view. Meanwhile, the rest of the universe glows freely. The Buddha taught something beautifully simple. Our mind is like the sky. Thoughts and emotions are like clouds. Some are light and passing, others heavy and dark. But no cloud is permanent. If we don't cling to it, it will move on. The same with envy. If we don't feed it, it dissolves naturally. The tragedy is that most of us do feed it. We nurture our jealousy with comparison, with constant measuring, with silent resentment. And the more we feed it, the thicker the clouds grow, until we can hardly remember that there was ever a moon behind them. But here's the good news. Just as clouds cannot destroy the moon, envy cannot destroy your true nature. Your inner radiance is indestructible. All you need is the courage to stop clinging to envy, and slowly, the clouds will thin out. I sometimes think of this in very practical terms. Imagine walking into a room full of people. One person enters, and immediately the atmosphere feels lighter, like the moon shining in. Another enters, and the air feels heavy, like clouds gathering. Which would you rather be? The moonlight that comforts, or the cloud that dims? And here's the key. Moonlight doesn't compete with anything. It doesn't envy the stars. It doesn't fight the darkness. It just shines, quietly, steadily, without demand. That is the beauty of a heart free from envy. There's an old Zen saying, when the mind is clear, the moon appears. It means that the moment we let go of jealousy and resentment, our natural brightness returns. We don't have to force it. We don't have to buy it. We don't have to prove it. We only have to let go. So, how do we let go? It begins with awareness. The next time you feel envy rise, don't judge yourself. Don't push it away. Simply notice, a cloud has appeared in my sky. Already, this shifts your perspective. You're no longer inside the envy. You're the sky watching the cloud drift by. Then, practice releasing. Instead of fueling the thought with comparison, breathe. Smile gently, even if just to yourself. You might even whisper a blessing. May they be happy. May I be free from envy. Slowly, this softens the grip. And finally, practice remembering. Remember that envy doesn't add anything to your life. It only covers your light. The moon has never disappeared. Your job is only to stop clinging to the clouds. I'll leave you with this image. Picture yourself standing under a vast night sky. Above you, the moon glows, serene and calm. Suddenly, dark clouds gather, hiding its light. For a moment, everything feels lost. But then, the wind shifts. The clouds begin to drift. And there it is again, the moon, shining as if it had never been gone. That moon is you. That light is your original self. The clouds of envy may come and go, but they can never take away the brilliance that is already yours. Closing reflection. So, remember this: the moon is never lost. Your light is never gone. The only task is to let go of envy and let the clouds dissolve. Because when the clouds of jealousy vanish, the moon within shines naturally, and the whole world can feel your radiance. Envy and illness. There's a kind of poison people drink every day, yet it only harms themselves. If someone handed you a glass of poison and said, "Drink this, it will hurt you, but not the person you dislike," would you take it? Sounds absurd, right? No one in their right mind would willingly swallow something that destroys them from the inside. And yet, that's exactly what many of us do when we let envy take over. Envy is that poison. Silent, invisible, disguised as a fleeting thought. But once swallowed, it seeps into our mind, our body, our relationships. The Buddha once said that jealousy burns like fire. It consumes the one who holds it. And today, even modern science echoes this ancient wisdom. Studies in psychology and medicine show that chronic envy and resentment increase stress hormones like cortisol, disrupt blood circulation, and weaken the immune system. Over time, this constant internal storm can pave the way for illness: high blood pressure, insomnia, anxiety, even heart disease. Think about it. Have you ever felt that tightness in your chest when jealousy rises? Or noticed how your face grows hot, your body restless, your sleep unsettled? That's not just a bad mood. That's your entire system going into turmoil. Your heart racing, your nerves on edge, your blood boiling, literally. It's as if envy poisons not only the mind but the bloodstream. You might smile on the outside, pretending everything is fine, but inside, your organs are working overtime, paying the price. And here's the cruel irony: while we suffer, the person we envy often carries on with their life, unaffected. Your jealousy doesn't weaken them, it weakens you. There's a Tibetan saying I love: envy is like holding a hot coal in your hand, waiting to throw it at someone else. But in the meantime, it's your own hand that gets burned. Isn't that the truth? Let me give you an example. A friend once confided in me that she couldn't sleep for weeks after hearing about her colleague's big promotion. She wasn't mistreated, she wasn't fired. Her life hadn't changed in any concrete way. And yet, the bitterness she held in her heart drained her energy, affected her digestion, and even made her hair fall out from stress. She was essentially making herself sick with envy. This is where both ancient wisdom and modern science meet. Our mind and body are inseparable. What weighs on the heart eventually shows up in the body. Jealous thoughts don't just stay in your head. They echo in your pulse, your breathing, your cells. So, the real question is, why keep drinking this poison? Most of us don't envy out of malice. We envy because we feel lacking. We see someone else's success as proof of our own inadequacy. And that pain turns into comparison, then resentment. But the tragedy is, while envy pretends to protect our ego, it actually destroys our well-being. So, what's the antidote? The medicine is joy, specifically, joy in the happiness of others. In Buddhist practice, it's called mudita, sympathetic joy. Instead of seeing someone's success as your loss, you see it as evidence that happiness is possible. If your friend finds love, it means love exists. If your colleague thrives, it means success is possible. Their light doesn't dim yours, it lights the way. And here's the fascinating part. Studies show that when we practice gratitude and genuine joy for others, our stress decreases, our heart rate stabilizes, and our body releases endorphins, the natural feel-good chemicals that boost immunity and heal the body. It's almost as if life is saying, if you poison yourself with envy, I'll make you sick. But if you nourish yourself with joy, I'll make you healthy. So, maybe the next time envy rises, we can pause and ask ourselves, am I about to drink poison, or will I choose medicine? I'll be honest, it's not easy. I've struggled with envy, too. But I've learned that the moment I shift from jealousy to appreciation, something changes inside me. My breath softens, my shoulders relax, my heart feels lighter. It's like opening a window in a stuffy room. So let's remember this. Envy doesn't punish the person we envy, it punishes us. Every drop of jealousy we drink corrodes our peace, our health, our joy. But every moment of genuine celebration we practice strengthens us, heals us, brightens us. The Buddha put it simply, hatred does not cease by hatred. By love alone does hatred cease. In the same way, envy does not cease by more envy. It only dissolves when we cultivate joy. So here's the invitation. Stop drinking the poison. Choose the medicine. The next time you feel that familiar sting of envy, take a breath. Remember, the success of others is not your defeat. Their joy is not your loss. And your body, your heart, your spirit, they all deserve better than the poison of jealousy. Because in the end, envy shortens life. But joy gives life back to you. The karma of the eyes. Hook. Have you noticed how envious eyes can shine when looking at others, but slowly dim when reflecting on themselves? Script. Our eyes are like mirrors of the soul. They don't just see the world, they reveal the state of our heart. Sometimes, you can meet someone who looks at you with genuine warmth, and their gaze feels like sunlight. Other times, you meet someone whose eyes seem clouded, heavy, almost piercing, and you wonder, what story lies behind those eyes? The truth is, envy leaves traces. You can't hide it forever. When we constantly look at others through the lens of jealousy, it's as if our own gaze loses its purity. Instead of seeing beauty, we see threat. Instead of inspiration, we feel inadequacy. We notice every strength in others, but instead of celebrating it, we use it to whip ourselves, deepening our own sense of lack. It's a strange paradox, isn't it? The envious eye shines outward, always alert to the brilliance of others, but inwardly, it darkens. It's like holding up a lantern only to illuminate your neighbor's path, while your own home remains in shadow. The Buddha once taught, what you plant in the mind, you will harvest in life. If we plant seeds of envy, what grows is bitterness. If we sow seeds of joy, what blooms is peace. The eyes are simply the first to reveal that harvest. Think about it. Have you ever looked into the eyes of someone truly at peace? There's a clarity, a brightness, almost childlike in its openness. And then compare that with the eyes of someone who lives in constant comparison, narrowed, restless, lacking light. Same eyes, same human being, but a different inner garden. Science even supports this. Researchers have found that emotions change not only our facial expressions but the micro-movements of our eyes. How long we look, what we focus on, whether our pupils dilate or contract. In fact, prolonged envy has been linked to stress responses that make our eyes duller, our skin paler, our whole presence less vibrant. So when ancient teachings say the eyes darken with jealousy, it's not just poetry, it's physiology. And here's where karma comes in. Karma is often misunderstood as some cosmic punishment. But it's simpler than that. Karma just means cause and effect. What you water inside, you eventually see outside. Plant envy, reap sorrow. Plant joy, reap light. The eyes are the living proof of that law. Let me share a story. I once knew two artists. One was constantly jealous of others' success, every exhibition, every award, every bit of recognition. Over time, his eyes grew weary, almost perpetually tired, even when he forced a smile. The other artist, though less famous, radiated something different. Whenever he looked at others' work, his eyes lit up with curiosity and appreciation. And strangely, people were drawn to him, not just his art, but his presence. His gaze itself seemed like a gift. So, here's a question for you. What seeds are you planting with your eyes? Do you use them to hunt for reasons to feel small? Or do you use them to notice beauty, to learn, to celebrate? Because in the end, your eyes will reveal your truth. You don't need a fortune teller to read your future. You just need to look in the mirror. If your eyes are clouded with resentment, that's the fruit of envy ripening. If your eyes are bright and gentle, that's the fruit of joy blooming. The lesson is simple. The brightness or darkness of our gaze doesn't come from others. It comes from within. Closing reflection. So next time you catch yourself staring with envy, pause. Remember, the more you fixate on others' light, the more you dim your own. But if you water your heart with gratitude, with joy in others' happiness, your eyes will naturally shine, clear, steady, radiant. Because whether our eyes shine or darken, it's not fate, it's not luck, it's karma. And karma, at its root, is simply the seeds we choose to plant in the garden of our heart. So, ask yourself, what seeds are you planting today? The joy of congratulating others. Did you know that simply saying, "Congratulations, I'm happy for you," can change the energy of your own face, your own heart, and even your own life? We often underestimate the power of a simple blessing. Just one sentence, spoken with sincerity, has the ability to shift not only someone else's day, but our own inner world. Think about the last time you truly celebrated someone else's success. Maybe it was a friend getting promoted, a family member buying their first home, or even a colleague receiving recognition. If your congratulations came from a genuine place, didn't you feel lighter, brighter, almost as if their victory sprinkled a bit of joy into your own soul? And yet, how many times do we hold back? How many times do we bite our tongue, smile politely, but feel a little sting inside? That sting has a name: envy. And envy, if left unexamined, steals not only our peace, but also the natural radiance we were meant to carry. The Buddha once taught about a beautiful practice called mudit, translated as sympathetic joy or rejoicing in others' happiness. In Vietnamese Buddhism, it's often called tui h kong si, to rejoice in the merit and success of others. It's the opposite of envy. Instead of shrinking when others shine, we allow their light to illuminate us too. You see, our minds are like gardens. Every time we congratulate someone sincerely, it's like planting a seed of joy in our soil. Over time, those seeds grow into flowers, gratitude, contentment, peace. But every time we resist, every time we withhold our blessing, it's like dropping a stone on that soil. Eventually, too many stones harden the heart, and nothing beautiful can grow. I remember a friend once telling me, every time I say congratulations with genuine joy, I feel as though I'm the one who received the gift. At first, it sounded strange. How could congratulating someone else make you feel rewarded? But then I tried it. I made it a practice. Whenever someone I knew succeeded, I would pause, look them in the eyes, and say, "I'm truly happy for you." Not just the words, but with my whole heart. And something surprising happened. Instead of feeling left behind, I felt included. Instead of feeling small, I felt expanded. Their success became, in some way, my success too. It makes sense if you think about it. The world doesn't run out of joy. Happiness is not a limited resource. When someone else rises, it doesn't push us down, it shows us what's possible. But envy tricks us into believing the opposite, that someone else's win is somehow our loss. That mindset doesn't just dim our spirit, it shows on our face, in our eyes, in our energy. Have you ever noticed how someone who is always bitter seems to carry a heaviness in their expression? And on the other hand, people who are genuinely happy for others always look more radiant, more approachable, more alive. Science also agrees with this ancient wisdom. Psychologists have found that practicing gratitude and sympathetic joy boosts serotonin and dopamine, the very chemicals that create happiness in our brains. When we celebrate others, our body literally rewards us with feelings of warmth and ease. It's as if nature itself is saying, "Yes, this is the way. Keep choosing joy." Now let me share a story. There were two women I knew in a small community. One of them had the habit of congratulating everyone. If someone bought a new car, she would clap her hands in delight. If someone's child graduated, she would cheer as though it were her own child. People loved being around her because her joy was contagious. The other woman, though successful in her own right, rarely congratulated anyone. If she did, her words felt stiff, forced, almost reluctant. Over time, people noticed. They still respected her, but her presence carried a shadow. Which one do you think looked more youthful, more radiant, more at peace? It's not hard to guess, because beauty isn't only on the surface. The most expensive creams can't hide resentment. The finest clothes can't cover a heavy spirit. But a heart that genuinely rejoices? That heart shines through the eyes, the smile, even the way someone walks into a room. So let me ask you, when was the last time you said congratulations with your whole heart? And when was the last time you withheld it, telling yourself, "They don't need to hear it from me," or worse, "Why them, not me"? Which moment left you feeling lighter? Which moment left you feeling heavier? This is where spiritual wisdom and daily life meet. The Buddha didn't teach tui h kong si as some lofty, unreachable practice. He taught it because it's practical, because it works, because when we rejoice in the good of others, we multiply goodness in ourselves. And here's the beautiful paradox. Every time you congratulate someone sincerely, you don't lose energy, you gain it. Every time you share in someone else's joy, you're adding light to your own life. Imagine what the world would look like if we all lived this way. Imagine workplaces where colleagues genuinely rooted for one another. Families where siblings cheered each other on instead of competing. Communities where every success was shared, celebrated, multiplied. That's not just a dream, It's a choice we can make, starting right now. Because here's the truth, your words shape your world. When you say, "Congratulations, I'm happy for you," you're not just giving a gift to someone else, you're opening a door inside yourself. A door to abundance, to freedom from comparison, to a joy that no envy can steal. So remember this, every time you rejoice in another's success, you're polishing your own light. Every time you practice sympathetic joy, you're watering seeds of peace in your own heart. Envy may dim your gaze, but joy will brighten it. The practice of Tuih Kong Si is simple. Congratulate, rejoice, celebrate. Not half-heartedly, not out of politeness, but sincerely. When you do, you not only add blessings to your life, you also add warmth to the world. Because in the end, the secret to shining brighter isn't found in taking more, it's found in celebrating more. And that can begin with just one sentence. Congratulations. I'm truly happy for you. The envious and the radiant. Hook. Here's a question for you. Why is it that two people can stand in the exact same room, face the same opportunities, breathe the same air, yet one seems to grow luckier and brighter each day, while the other constantly runs into obstacles? Script. Life has a strange way of revealing who we are inside. Sometimes it's not in our words, or even in our actions. It's in the invisible energy we carry. Have you noticed this? Some people walk into a room, and it feels like the light follows them. Their presence is warm, magnetic, alive. Opportunities seem to find them naturally. And then there are others, good people, hardworking people, but their presence feels heavy, closed off. No matter what they do, doors seem to stay shut. So what makes the difference? Is it luck? Fate? Or something far more subtle? The Buddha once pointed to a truth that modern psychology also echoes. Our inner state shapes our outer reality. When our hearts are open, when we can genuinely celebrate others, we create a current that attracts more goodness into our lives. But when our hearts are closed, tightened by envy, we push blessings away without even realizing it. Let me give you a simple image. Imagine two gardens. One gardener waters his soil with joy. He delights in the flowers blooming, even when they aren't his own. His soil is soft, open, ready. Seeds fall there and flourish. The other gardener, however, resents every flower that isn't his. His soil hardens, dries up. Even when seeds fall, they struggle to sprout. Same sun, same rain, same climate, yet one garden blossoms while the other withers. The difference isn't in the environment, it's in the openness of the soil. The same is true for us. People who rejoice, who congratulate, who live with an open heart, naturally become like magnets for opportunity. Their energy is expansive, and life responds. But those who live with envy, their energy contracts. Doors close. Blessings dry up. It's not punishment. It's simply the law of cause and effect. I once knew two colleagues who started at the same company at the same time. Both were intelligent, talented, and ambitious, but their paths unfolded very differently. One always cheered for his teammates' wins. If someone landed a big client, he'd send them a message of congratulations. If someone got promoted, he'd celebrate as though it were his own promotion. The other, though equally skilled, always carried a quiet resentment. Instead of clapping, he compared. Instead of congratulating, he criticized. Fast forward a few years, the first colleague kept moving up, doors kept opening. The second remained stuck, frustrated, wondering why life was unfair. But was it really unfair? Or was it that one had an open heart, while the other had closed it shut? This is where the idea of ki si, your outward radiance, comes in. You don't need a mirror to know when someone is thriving. Their face says it all. Their eyes shine, their skin glows, there's a softness about them that draws people near. And you don't need a doctor to sense when someone is consumed by envy. Their energy feels heavy, their expression tense, their presence dim. The body never lies. The face is often the first place the soul speaks. So the real question becomes, what energy are we feeding? Do we feed envy, closing ourselves off, drying up our fortune? Or do we feed joy, keeping our hearts open, welcoming opportunities like old friends? I know, it sounds almost too simple. Can something as small as being happy for others really shift our lives? But think about it. How do you feel around someone who genuinely celebrates you? Don't you want to include them, bring them along, share more with them? Life works the same way. When you celebrate others, life celebrates you. When you shut others out, life quietly shuts you out in return. Here's a little experiment you can try. The next time someone shares good news, a promotion, a wedding, a new car, even something as small as a personal milestone, watch your inner reaction. Do you feel a pinch, a tightening, a voice whispering, "Why them, not me?" Or do you feel expansive, smiling with them, even adding, "I'm so happy for you"? That microsecond of choice is everything. Because whichever response you choose, you're watering a seed. If it's envy, that seed grows into bitterness, and over time it shows in your face, your health, your destiny. If it's joy, that seed grows into lightness, and life reflects that back to you. I've learned this the hard way. In my younger years, I used to secretly compare myself with others. Whenever a peer achieved something, I'd smile on the outside, but inside I felt smaller, less worthy. Over time, that heaviness built up. Life felt harder, doors felt fewer. But when I began practicing the habit of rejoicing, of genuinely blessing others, I noticed a shift. Not only did my relationships deepen, but opportunities began appearing out of nowhere. It wasn't magic, it was simply the law of resonance. Open hearts attract open paths. So maybe the mystery isn't why some people are luckier than others. Maybe the mystery is why some people keep closing their hearts when life is inviting them to open. Think about this. Every person you envy is proof of possibility. If someone achieves something, it shows you what can be done. If someone shines, it shows you the light that's possible for human beings, including you. So why resent the proof? Why not let it inspire you instead? Closing reflection. At the end of the day, whether our lives feel bright or dim doesn't depend on fate. It depends on the seeds we water. Envy closes the heart, dries up blessings, and darkens the face. Joy opens the heart, multiplies blessings, and makes us radiant. So if you want to know what your future looks like, don't look at your bank account. Don't look at your resume. Look at your heart. Is it open or closed? Does it celebrate or compare? Because in the end, life really is simple. The envious shrink, the radiant expand. And the choice between shrinking or shining, it's ours every single day. So let me leave you with this question. When the next opportunity comes knocking, will your heart be open enough to let it in? Radiance and blessings. Hook. They say, if you want to know a person's fortune, don't look at their bank account, don't look at their resume, just look at their face, at the light, or the heaviness in their radiance. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to glow, even without trying? It's not about their hairstyle, or their clothes, or even how much sleep they got the night before. It's something deeper, an inner brightness that shines through their skin, their eyes, their presence. And then, in contrast, there are others who look tired even when they're not, whose expressions feel heavy, whose energy feels like a cloud. What if I told you that this difference, this radiance, isn't random at all? That it's not just genetics or skincare, but a mirror of the heart? In Buddhist wisdom, and interestingly in modern psychology too, there's an understanding that our inner state doesn't stay hidden. It spills out into our bodies, our tone, our very appearance. A generous person, someone who celebrates others, who lives with gratitude and joy, often carries a softness, a lightness, a face that makes you want to stay around them. Meanwhile, a person who clings to envy, bitterness, or resentment, their features harden, their eyes dull, their energy grows heavy. This is why the ancients often said, to see someone's blessings, look at their radiance. Now, you might be wondering, isn't that a little mystical? Maybe. But think about it for a moment. Have you ever met someone who was truly kind, someone who carried no hidden malice, and noticed how their presence alone seemed to brighten the room? And have you ever encountered someone who seemed to be consumed by jealousy, whose words were polite, but whose eyes carried a shadow? Didn't you feel the difference instantly? Science actually supports this too. When we feel joy, gratitude, compassion, our nervous system relaxes. Our blood circulates more smoothly, our breathing steadies, and our face literally softens. There's more light in the eyes because the body isn't tense. On the other hand, when we are jealous or angry, stress hormones flood our system. Our muscles tighten, circulation slows, and over time, our face reflects that tension. Wrinkles deepen, skin dulls, eyes lose their shine. It's not magic, it's biology. But behind biology lies the state of the mind. I remember once meeting an old woman at a temple. She wasn't rich. She didn't have fancy clothes. But her smile, It was unforgettable. She looked at you as if she was blessing you, even without saying a word. People would naturally gravitate toward her, as if her presence was medicine. And when I asked about her life, she said simply, "I don't have much, but I rejoice when others do. That makes me feel full." Her radiance didn't come from money or status. It came from a heart without envy. On the other hand, I've also met people with every material advantage, wealth, status, beauty, but their faces carried a heaviness. They complained often, compared constantly, resented quietly. And you could see it, the furrowed brows, the tight lips, the eyes that never rested. They had all the outer blessings, but their radiance was dim. So maybe the real fortune we carry isn't in the size of our house, but in the light of our presence. Let me ask you, when people see you, what do they feel? Do they feel uplifted, or do they feel drained? Do they see light in your eyes, or do they sense a weight? Because whether we realize it or not, we are all radiating something. And here's where envy plays its tricky role. Envy doesn't just harm our relationships, it stains our radiance. Think of it like smoke in a room. The candle may still be burning, but the smoke makes the light harder to see. When we live in envy, we dim our own flame. We may think envy only hurts the person we are jealous of, but the truth is, it darkens us first. That's why many spiritual teachers said, if you want beauty, cultivate virtue. If you want radiance, cultivate joy. Makeup can cover the skin, but it can't light up the eyes. Only the heart can do that. Now, here's an interesting perspective. We often spend so much time trying to look younger, fresher, more attractive. Entire industries profit from creams, surgeries, diets, all promising to make us glow. But the deepest glow, the one you can't buy, comes from generosity, from gratitude, from rejoicing in others' happiness. A kind heart is the ultimate skincare. A joyful heart is the ultimate anti-aging. Think about it. The people you find most beautiful, are they always the ones with perfect features? Or are they the ones whose faces reflect warmth, kindness, openness? I once heard someone say, bitterness carves deeper lines on the face than time ever will. And I believe that, because bitterness makes us heavy, joy makes us radiant. So today, we've been speaking about how envy darkens our radiance. But here's the beautiful part. Tomorrow, we'll open another secret, the way generosity and rejoicing, what the Buddha called 2EH, sharing joy in others' blessings, not only builds merit, but literally makes the face shine. Imagine that, an act of kindness shaping not just your future, but your very presence. Closing thought. So the next time you look in the mirror, ask yourself, what am I radiating today? Is my face heavy with comparison, or light with joy? Am I dimming my own candle with envy, or letting it burn bright with generosity? Because remember, your true fortune is not measured in dollars, it's written in your radiance. And that radiance is not fixed. Every day, with every thought, with every choice, you are either dimming or brightening your own light. So maybe the best beauty tip, the best life hack, is simply this: rejoice more, envy less. The blessings you're searching for may already be waiting in the glow of your own face.